You guys are going to absolutely love today's interview. I grabbed another one of my coaching clients who has a really cool story. Why do I say cool story? Because this is a guy who got into the real estate business and, like many, many people, found out maybe that it was different than what he thought it was. He didn't understand that the real estate business is an eat what you kill business in the beginning. He left the business, then got it back into the business. And in this conversation, he's going to share how he's now, okay, fast forward now into the future, where he's getting 7 listings a month. He's going to go through great detail on how he's going out there and making this happen. And the great thing is he's also going to talk about, we break down all of the shiny objects that he's gone after from a lead generation standpoint that didn't work. And maybe you watching this video will watch the video and say, wow, man, I'm trying some of those same things. So I hope that you enjoy the video. If anything that we talk about resonates with you and you are open to a coaching relationship, just like this person was, feel free. I'm going to put a link beneath this video in the comments, and I'll put it in the description. Feel free to click it. We can have a conversation and discuss if maybe now is the time to work together and have a coaching relationship or not. And if not, I hope that you enjoy the interview. All right, so let's start off just by talking about what market are you in? Where do you sell real estate?
So I'm in the North Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Got it. Okay, cool. So you're in, you're in a great market. You're in a hot market, and what is the average price point there? Give us the lay of the land, what that looks like.
Yeah. So so I mostly work in the Tarrant County. So that's mostly where I've done a lot of my work since I moved to this area, but I can still work in the Dallas County as well. But Dallas, it looks a little bit higher than Tarrant County. But it was the past 2 years, it was like in the 400s mid, and then now it's kind of dropped a little bit.
Got it. Okay, cool. And just for context, before we really break into your business, Alejandro, how long have you been selling real estate? I mean, total.
So it's kind of funny. So I started back in August of 2020, and then I left for a little bit because I was trying to figure out how to do real estate. I really didn't know. I joined the group, and then a few months later, in September of 2021, I went back to worked for 5 months. And then in January of 2022, that's when I quit my job and went full time into real estate.
Okay,
So
so let's talk about that. So you got into the business when the market, a lot of people did. I mean, so many people got their license over the pandemic, over the last 2 years, really. I mean, we saw an explosion in every housing market. And when that happens, a lot of people get into the business. And so you got yourself into the business. And then I want to unpack what you just said. You said, all right, I got into the business, but then something happened where you didn't feel like you had a good grasp of what it was going to take to succeed in this business. And then you kind of left the business and maybe started to work full time again. Is that right?
yeah, so I got a job because I was running out of money. I really didn't know anything of what I was getting myself into hopping into real estate. At the beginning, I thought you were fed leads or you got in the business, they had everything for you. That's what I thought. But then I got into the business, and then I started finding out that you really have to go out there and get it on your own. But I did. People told me that I need to work with buyers first, and that's what I did. So I was working with buyers, and then I found out about your program, and then I never really thought about you need to get a listing in order to find the buyers. So then that's when I started switching my mentality. And then I really found out that it was even more difficult to get a listing than to work with a buyer.
Yeah, which is exactly right. I mean, when you got into the business, right? Like so many other people do, to your point, they think that it is one thing they quickly find out it's a whole nother thing. Where did that come from for you? I mean, was it people in the industry? Was it maybe just an assumption you had all on your own that you'd get into real estate and you'd be fed business and you'd be able to just succeed right away, not knowing what you didn't know? How did you find yourself in that situation? I'm just curious.
Like, how did I find out, or explain it again? Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. So you thought real estate, you were gonna quit your job in 2020. You're like, hey, I'm gonna go get my license. You thought real estate was something, then you found out it wasn't. Why?
Right.
What caused you to believe in the beginning when you got your license that it was going to be the way that it wasn't, which was you
Oh,
were going to sit in a company, you're just going to get fed leads, and you're going to be just a successful guy? What made you believe that in the beginning?
gotcha. Okay, so I just really, I guess, how people made it seem easy online. When I was doing my research of real estate, and they were talking about, oh, you got to get Zillow leads or stuff like that, and just really following some other people in the business, and then they it looked like they were doing really good. So I thought it was probably the company that was giving them the leads, and
Okay, so
so
you just assumed it. You were watching content online. Is that what you're saying?
right, right. Hmm.
Got it. Okay, okay. So I'm curious because I'm trying to figure out, you've heard me say it time and time again. I'm trying to figure out how, as an industry, Alejandro, guys like you and me can set better expectations with people that want to get in this business so they have a
Hmm.
better expectation of what it is and what it is not. And so I'm just curious for you, um, where the disconnect was. And so it makes sense. You were watching a lot of content online. It's probably how you came across me at some point in time. You saw interviews just like this and you said, wow, that doesn't seem very difficult. I'm a smart guy. I'm going to get my license and let's get started. So I want to go back to that time for just a second. What was that like? Were you working full time and then you quit your job and you went full time in real estate, or were you working full time and you were part time in real
No, so
estate?
actually, I lost my job during the pandemic in March
Got it.
of 2019. And then during that time, I really wasn't doing much, but I loved the job that I was doing because I was in the hotel industry since I was like 17, 16 years old. Um, so that's all I knew. And just whenever I lost my job, I didn't know what else to do. I basically grew my career in the hotel industry from the very bottom all the way to the very top, and then all of a sudden it just goes away. And so I went I felt like I worked so hard for this, and then it was just taken away. But then I had to think I can't be a victim, so I just started looking for work. I even went to work at Amazon, loading trucks, 18 wheelers, because that's the only thing that was available, and they were paying pretty decent money. So, um, and then I remember till this day, I was in that 18 wheeler truck, putting up the boxes in the 18 wheeler, and I was asking or praying. I was like, when is this going to stop? When am I going to get back to
Mm.
where I was at? And basically, it just helped me this whole entire process to understand that I have to appreciate where I'm at right now.
Wow. I mean, yeah, I mean, I could thank you for sharing that. I mean, it's real talk and I appreciate that. And so when you were in your career of hospitality in the hotel business, in something to your point you were working so hard for so long, and then all of a sudden you it was like a carpet was ripped out from underneath you and that career was taken away.
Right.
What kind of income were you making at that time that you found yourself having to replace?
So I was making, so when because I was bartending, and I was always in the banquet industry, and you
Sure.
can make really good money, but you're always there at work. You can wake up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, go to the hotel, work from, you got three shifts really: morning, breakfast, and lunch, and you're there all day. From 5 o'clock in the morning all the way until 10, and then you got to do it all over again the next day. And sometimes you got an event where you got the company that's there for the entire week, and you made really good money. I mean, I was making about, when I was a waiter slash bartender, I was making 70,000 at only 21 years old. Plus,
Wow.
on top of that, I was making my tips. It was good money. And then
Yeah.
I went into management, and that was a salary. But I mean, I was making up to 70,000 plus tips, and so
And
it was good.
all of that got taken away from you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, all right. So now let's kind of fast forward. What brought you, I guess, back into what changed your mind? You said, okay, I got into business 2020. It's not what I thought it was. I got to go and get a job again. Um, did you get back in the same industry real quick? I'm just curious. Did you go back to what you were doing before?
Yep,
Got it.
I
Okay.
did.
And then something happened recently where you're like, well, let me go try this real estate thing again. What was that?
So I'm just gonna be honest. So it was I didn't want to get the job, but I knew that our my wife was working super hard, and she's a teacher, and she was also tutoring, and we were door dashing as well. And I was doing Amazon Flex, and I was trying to do real estate. Her and I.
Wow.
So and it just got too much where I was like, I'm spending so much money on real estate, and but I'm not making any money, and so because I was driving, it didn't matter where I was going to. I would go visit FISBOs, expired, cancels, and I remember one time I didn't really have a lot of money in my bank account, and I bought the FISBO's family pizza, and it just hurt because they still ended up not even going with me, and I was like, I didn't even have money to feed myself, and I gave it to them, and
Wow.
and I was like, man, I need to get a job. I can't do this anymore. So, but it was actually Vincent's interview that when I was at work, I looked at it and I saw that you interviewed Vincent, and then I said, one day I want to be just like that. I want to
Mm,
get interviewed by Brandon. So here I am.
that's crazy. So,
Yep.
um, was it just something in you that says, well, I just don't want to give up. I know I can go back into that industry, maybe knowing more your second time getting into it, what to expect. So maybe a different expectation of yourself, a different mindset when you kind of got back into the business.
Yeah, because I saw Vincent. Him and I would script practice, and we would call together. And so that I left like in late August real estate to go interview and try to find a job, and I finally landed it.
This was August, what, 2021, right?
2021, yeah.
Okay, got it.
And then when I saw that interview, I think it was like exactly 1 year ago, I believe, when or sometime in November, I can't remember, but I saw the video of Vincent, and then I said, if I would have just kept going and not have quit, that could have been me.
Yep.
So
Yep.
then I spoke to my wife and I said, hey, I really want to go back into real estate. I know I can do it. And I mean, we were struggling. So I was like, should I do it? Should I not? But if I don't do it now, then I'm never going to do it. So I worked for December and told my boss at that time that I'm sorry, I'm going to have to leave. And I was a manager just only 2 months in or 3 months in. And when he got that news, he wasn't so happy, but I gave him a month in advance.
Sure.
So in January, first week, I left.
Wow. I mean, that's cool. I mean, this is just I mean, it's just the beginning of your story, which is going to be really cool to watch unfold. So now let's fast forward to 2022. You had posted something in our Facebook group last month, and as a result, you got 7 listings in 1 month, and that was
Hmm.
last month. Is that right?
Yeah, October.
Yeah. And so that's what I want to talk about, right? So I want to unpack how you're able to do that. What does 2022 look like the whole year? What does production look like? What's your GCI look like? And then we'll unpack how you're able to get 7 listings in 1 month.
So just so when I left and or when I got back into real estate full time, I knew that I had to make this there's no way going back.
Right.
Because I said that I told him if I ever come back over here looking for a job, please don't hire me. So there was no way of me going back to that hotel or that company. Um, but pretty much I have to wake up every single day, treat it as a job. If I can work so hard for them, why can't I just work as hard for myself? Just like you
That's
say.
exactly right.
Yeah. So then I wake up every morning like around 3:50, 4 o'clock in the morning every day, go to the gym, I work out, come back home, just treat it like a normal job. And I mean, that's really it. Just doing it consistently every single day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to come no matter what.
So what is
Even if
the
you're,
yeah, and we're going to break down your daily schedule in a second. I just want to jump in. So you got 7 listings last month, but all of 2022, what's your production look like for the whole year right now?
so really, I've had four homes that I've sold since January. But right now, and keep in mind, I've had some listings that didn't sell.
Sure.
But yeah, right now I'm probably looking at 11 so far for the year. And then working with 4 buyers as well. So that's like about 15 maybe.
Yeah, that's great. And if you were to close all of that, what kind of income would that represent in your market roughly?
I mean, it's a lot of money, but I haven't
Yeah.
really broken
More
it
more than
down.
you've ever made? I mean, more 6 figures
Definitely
plus?
more. If when everything closes here in this month in November, December, I would make literally what I just made in 1 year working for that hotel.
It's phenomenal. All right. So let's break. Yeah, go ahead. What were you say?
Yeah, probably more.
Yeah, probably more, right? So
Yeah.
let's break this down because what a complete turnaround, right? I mean, you are really having some great success, specifically last month because you've been building a pipeline all year long. That now last month manifested in 7 listings. So what's your primary lead generation strategy? How are you going out there and generating the business?
So I guess the question is, what am I going after?
No, not
Most.
lead sources, but just what's the methodology? What's the strategy? Are you buying leads? You're door knocking, open houses? Are you making calls? Are you referral partner? What's the strategy?
So yeah, it's calling and then also doing from my open houses.
Got it. Okay. So you're doing outbound phone prospecting and open houses. Now, we're going to get
Yep.
into lead sources in a second. Before we do that, Alejandro, I am always curious to find out maybe what other lead generation strategies have you tried that maybe didn't work? Because as you know, so many agents get caught up in shiny object syndrome. They're just chasing everything under the sun, looking for that path of least resistance. They seem to always come back to outbound calling. But did you try anything in the last maybe 2.5 years that didn't work that others can learn from those mistakes?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think that's how I lost my money.
That's right.
uh,
I want to talk about that.
Zillow leads. I tried it for like a couple months and then I quit. Facebook ads or
Yeah.
whatever. Got anything out of that? Um, those are really just it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Facebook
you
ads,
said you try
Zillow.
to you try to do some online buyer leads, right? So Zillow, and then you did some Facebook. Did you get any success with that whatsoever?
Nope.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah,
No.
they just took a whole bunch of money and nothing came from it. So what lead sources are you working now? So we talked about you're doing direct outbound prospecting and you're doing some open houses. What lead sources are you going after?
Expired and canceled.
Those are your go-tos.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're
All
really
right. So he says, "Oh yeah." All right. So let's talk about it. It's a great source of business. It doesn't come without its struggles, right? Because it's the lowest hanging fruit. It's the greatest opportunity that we have to go out there and get now business, now listings. A lot of
right.
agents competing for that business. How are you approaching that source of business that that's helping you find so much success?
How do I approach it? There's a guy that put it in pretty good words. He's like, think about it like a rubber band. You just stretch it out, and then as soon as you get someone to answer, boom, you just let it go, and you just go right after it.
Sure.
That's pretty much the way that I see it, and I get super excited every morning just whenever I see all the expired and cancels, because at that point I can be just somebody that, hey, look, I mean, you, I don't know, I really just want to know what happened, and if there's anything that I could do to help you out, and just being very honest and sincere. That's the way that I approach it.
That's great. And so you're coming at it from a place of curiosity, number one. Hey, what happened here? What caused this property not to sell? Because something did happen. I mean, homes just don't not sell for no reason, right? Something happened. So you go try to find out, like a detective, what happened, truly being authentic, truly being genuine, which then the prospect picks up on, which is allowing you to set appointments, right? Because you got to get the appointment first before you can get the listing, correct?
Right. Oh yeah.
There's
Yep.
never been a time you called an expired one time and then they signed the contract right after the call was done, correct?
No.
You got to go meet
No.
with them. So my next question rather is, so on that phone call specifically, what are you finding that's helping you set that appointment?
Um, just really detaching myself from the outcome, and really just wanting to know, like, what happened. Like, was it you who canceled with that agent because they just weren't a good fit for you? What changed in the past 24 hours?
Right.
Um, and then they literally just open up, and I guess my script is always, I mean, I'm just wondering, like, what happened, and is there anything that I can do to help you out? And they just tell me, and then, well, look, if you can get an offer here in the next 30, 45 days, would that help you or be an inconvenience? And you get those people that say that would be great, and
Yep.
I'm like, oh, this is a good lead.
Yeah, that's
It's
great.
great for the appointment right after that. Well, look, um, I mean, I got some time today, tomorrow, between 2 to 4. Which one works best for you? I just want to be someone that can help you, and that's exactly what you need. And you need an aggressive agent. I'm more than happy to show you exactly what I can do differently from the other person. Either way, I'm good if you go with me or not. And then they just open up.
That's great. I love it. That's great. That's great feedback. Um, and so the next question that comes up is, of the appointments you go on, are you finding that most of them come as a result of the very first phone call, or do they come from lead follow up? Where are you getting more appointments from when it comes to expireds and withdrawals? Do you get more, hey, the first call, or you generate a lead, follow up with them for a couple days, a couple weeks, and then it turns into an appointment?
The first call.
The first
For
call,
me,
yeah.
it's the first call, and I try to set that appointment as, if I can go today, I'll meet them today. And then something else that I did, and I tried it out. If they say that they're too busy or they're not in the state, or if they're out of state, then I just said, why don't we do this? Why don't I just send you a Zoom link? I'll show you exactly what I look at as a real estate agent. And then, we can come up with a decision of where to price your home, or if you want to work with me or not, it's up to you. But I got some time, 10, 15 minutes today between blah, blah, blah time, and just shoot them. And that's a good way for me to send them that Zoom link to their email. And
Yep.
that's what I've been doing. I don't
That's
have to
great.
go.
That's right. That's even better.
Yeah.
That's even better. So how many appointments, in order to, you got 7 uh, listings last month? How many appointments did you have to go on, or how many Zoom appointments did you have to have in order to get those 7 listings?
Well, I need to get a little bit better on tracking. I'm not
Sure.
really good at that, but I'd say probably like about maybe 11, and then I got all those 7.
I mean, that's great conversion.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal conversion. I mean, 7 out of 11, I mean, that's really, really high conversion. Yeah, once we get you tracking your numbers and you can see, okay, this is exactly what I have to do to duplicate these results, you're going to be unstoppable. So give us maybe some things that, and I guess my next question is, of those maybe 11 appointments you went on and you got 7, did you get all 7 on that first appointment, or did you have to meet with them, follow up with them maybe for a couple days before the seller ultimately said, yes, Alejandro, we're comfortable, let's go ahead and move forward?
Um, so I know that on a few of them, it was on that first meeting, and I go with the listing agreement with their
Yep.
name, my name, everything, sign, or all I need is their signature, and
Sure.
it's a percent commission, not a
That's
4 or
right.
5. I go in
That's
with
right.
that mentality.
Good.
Um, I think only like 2 or 3 I had to keep following up with them.
Okay, got it. So yeah, the vast majority, you called them one time, you set the appointment, you went on the appointment, you got the contract signed, and that's why direct outbound prospecting. That's why I just can't understand why people are still fighting this. Why real estate agents are still trying all these other shiny objects. Why they fight this process so bad. We know the answer. They want the path of least resistance. It's not easy. Just to your point, you watch all these interviews, an agent's going to hear you, Alejandro, and say, well, shit, I can do that too. That sounds easy. It's not easy, right? Would you agree?
Oh yeah, it's really hard because you gotta, if you've never had to really go out there and get it for yourself, then you don't understand it.
That's right.
You don't know what it's like to, because a lot of people they want the easy route,
Oh yeah.
and they're,
Oh yes.
I mean, if you're not willing to do whatever it takes, then this is probably just not for you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. And give people an idea of what it does take. Like, let's get into your schedule a little bit. What
Hmm.
how many hours are you prospecting? How many people are you talking to every day? What does that look like? What's the actual work look like that has you listing 7 homes a month?
So I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, go to the gym. By 6 o'clock, 6:30, I'm already home, get dressed, and by 7:30, I'm prospecting with my group, accountability group, and we show up every single morning. We just added someone else, but yeah, we every morning, especially me, I'm always there at 7:30, ready to script practice, and at 8, it's time to hit the phones. And I usually just prospect for about 2 hours. Recently, I've been really busy that now I had to hire a TC because I can't do all the work. And now, whenever I have a buyer and I need a showing, then I pay them now to go show a property. But if I can show the property, then I'll go do it. Trying to keep as much money as I can for myself. Um, and at the afternoon, it's just go to the appointment. And if I don't have anything, then I'll start calling again.
Pretty simple, right? I mean, you're prospecting, looking for appointments in the morning, going on appointments in the afternoon. And if there's no appointments in the afternoon, we do more prospecting. What's your wife think about your recent success? It sounds like you've got a good support system, but is she pretty fired up about the results you've been getting lately?
Oh yeah, she loves it.
Yeah.
But I tell her, don't count on it until I get that
Yes.
check, because when I got my first couple of checks when I first started my first few months, I didn't know how to handle
Manage
it,
it.
so I
Yeah.
lost, right, manage it. So I lost most of it. But now that I have a really good grasp of and understand the business and see that yes, I am an entrepreneur and I have to really keep this money and keep as much as money as I can for the long run, then I mean I'm going to be way more careful about it. But I
Smart.
had to learn the hard way. No one goes in the business knowing it.
Yeah.
So
That's why we talk about all the time on our coaching calls. The learning's what? It's in the doing. You're not
yeah,
going to just learn it in some book somewhere. Like, you got to pay the price. You learn the hard way. You got your ass whooped in the business a little bit, right? Chasing all
oh
these
yeah,
different things. You've heard me say it time and time again, but it wasn't until you and tried it that you said, "Oh, geez, now I know what he's talking about." Would you agree?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's so funny, right? I mean, I've made all the mistakes. I tell people, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. They just don't believe it. They got to go make their own mistake. It's like telling the kid, don't touch the hot stove. And they don't want to listen to mom and dad until they burn the shit out of their hand. Then they'll listen. So, right? And that's just how humans are. So as you look forward into 2023, with all the new skills, the new mindset, the new confidence that you have, what are your goals in 2023?
One thing that you definitely just hit right now is the confidence. I was looking at my video of when I used to prospect, and I used to go live on the group.
Yep.
I was like, oh my gosh, I sucked. And but it's because the confidence wasn't there. My
Right.
mind was very commission breath. I needed that. I needed to get that
Desperate,
list. I
very
needed to get,
desperate. Whatever I got
Yes.
to say, just desperate, desperate, desperate.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just like you said, I'll do whatever it takes, to get a home or to get a listing. But now it's like I don't really care if you don't want to work with me or not. So that's confidence right there.
And
Uh,
because of that, have you found that more people want to do business with you? The
yeah,
more you need it, the less they want to do business with you. It's just like dating. The one that's less attached is the one that becomes more appealing to the other person. And that's what you found, correct?
yep, yep. And I'll tell you, when I was working in that hotel industry, I mean, I am a very confident person. I walked around very confident, not cocky, but just very
Sure.
confident. I knew what I was doing. I can go back and I know exactly what to do in that industry. Um, but when I got into real estate, my confidence went really down because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So and you could hear it in my voice when I was calling. So, but now it's like now I'm starting to get the business going. I'm starting to understand it a lot more. I know what things that come up in an inspection or in a listing, whatever it is. That now my confidence is even higher, and it's just going to go up from there. So for 2020 through 23, I definitely want to. I mean, I could cap this year
Yep.
at Keller Williams, but um, for 2023, I want to do it in half that time.
Absolutely. I love that. And then spend the vast majority of 2023 keeping
Getting
100% of your income.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
That's my
love it.
goal
Yeah.
to just from now on just going half, half, half everything.
I love it, man. That's great. It's really good. So, if there's a new agent that will watch this, or you can go and get licensed all over again in 2020, what are maybe, I don't know, one or two or three pieces of advice you might give to yourself about how to succeed in the real estate business that maybe other agents can learn from?
Um, I mean, there's quite a few things, but my main thing is try to get really close to somebody who's um, experienced in the business and who you can trust, and you can go to and ask questions because that's very, very important. You're dealing with people's homes and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the other thing is obviously, well, it just really depends what your goal is. But if you're wanting to be a badass, a boss, if you want to be a listing agent, it's a different mentality. Um, and I would say probably hire you as their coach. But yeah, I mean, it's just be prepared because it's going to beat you up and it's gonna be tough.
It
It's
is,
not
yeah.
it's definitely not easy. And if you're someone that likes to, if you're a quitter, if you try something and you want to just test it out for a little bit, this is definitely not for you.
It's great advice. And it's the truth, and I just think we need to do a better job telling people the truth before they get into this industry so they know what they're getting themselves into. So listen, love the conversation. Thank you so much. There'll be a lot of people that you will impact as a result of having this conversation. I'm excited to maybe have you back on the podcast at the end of 2023 because of what you've gone through, and now with everything you've got going on, it's going to be super exciting to watch you grow in this industry. So thanks for taking the time to do this.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon, brother.